All right, guys, so I just picked up this 2022 Mercedes Benz Sprinter Passenger van. It's a 2500 4x4, and this is going to be the last year that they're going to make this particular version right here. It's also the 6-cylinder diesel. So if you know about Sprinters, next year, 2023, they're coming out with an all-wheel drive, and it's going to be a 4-cylinder turbo diesel. It's supposed to have better numbers and perform a whole lot better, have better gas mileage, all that kind of good stuff. So that's always a good thing. But you'll have discussions back and forth, 4-cylinder versus 6-cylinder. So this is technically the last year they'll be making this 4-cylinder. Another thing about that is going to be that 4-wheel drive system. So the next iteration is going to be an all-wheel drive vehicle. And the difference between that 4-wheel drive or the 4x4 and the all-wheel drive is that that's going to be automatic, right? It detects slippage and then it turns wheels on and off and engages the all-wheel drive system by itself. This here, one of the sucky things about this is that you kind of have to stop and you have to engage the 4-wheel drive. So you kind of have to anticipate your journey, where you're going, what the weather's going to be like, and then if you know it's going to be dicey, you may have to turn it on prior, or you have to be prepared to pull over to the side of the road and activate it, which is a little annoying. But for the hardcore off-road people, they really like 4-wheel drive or 4x4 with a low range as opposed to the all-wheel drive system, because you're kind of in charge, you know when to turn it on, you know what it's going to do. But I think for vans, generally speaking, I think all-wheel drive is going to be just fine. I think people will love that. So anyways, that's not what this is about. I'd like to do a quick little video once I pick up a vehicle, right, before I get into trying to justify the purchase that I've made. So while I still have the buyer's remorse, right, like I like to talk about the vehicle. So I just drove this from the dealership. It's got 44 miles on it because that's how far it was. I picked it up with about 5 miles. So if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know this is technically my second Sprinter van. I had a Winnebago Revel, which is based on the Sprinter platform, and that was a 2021 or 2020. It's a 2020 Sprinter van. It's built out, right? It's a camper, so it's slightly different. This here is just the passenger van. You can just see right there. It's a high roof. And I'll do a complete walk around sometime and kind of go into detail about certain things. But this is just about my drive so far. So I picked it up from the dealership. I drove it, and what did it feel like? That's what you're getting right now. It drove amazingly well. The Revel, because it's a built-out camper as well, and it weighs a little bit more at that point, was very tipsy. Like you go down a driveway, sometimes your driveway has that little lip. It would sway back and forth. This doesn't do that at all. It's solid. It feels like you're driving a sedan, which is absolutely amazing. If it wasn't for sitting so high, I would think that I was in an actual regular sedan. You don't feel the heft. You don't feel the size of it. It helps, of course, that, it hasn't been built out into a camper. But the vehicle drives really well. If you are buying this to just use it to carry people back and forth, your family members or whatever else, not excellent driving vehicle. I'm not sure how well it does with people in the back. I don't have people in the back, but just driving it as a single occupant feels absolutely amazing. It's stable on the road and it feels great. I like the finish. I like the look of it. I like the headliner. I like that it's not just that white or that off-white. It's actually gray, and the vehicle's gray on the outside. I think they call it, the name escapes me, the Tenorite. I think it's the Tenorite. But so it drives really well. And one thing that I like that they fixed is the lane departure. The lane departure on my Revel, which is a 2020 Sprinter, like I said, it was out to get you. It was actually trying to kill you. Whenever you start swerving or you go off-road, even in the slightest bit, it would grab it and try to yank it all the way back into the lane, which was dangerous in itself. Like every once in a while you're driving, you kind of, drift a little bit, and that's normal, right? You correct yourself, you're not falling asleep. But this was very jarring. So this just beeps, and then it lets you know, then you've got to pull back into the lane. I didn't go far enough to see if it would then try to pull me across or pull me back over, but it's a beep, and then it alerts you, and that's great, right? If you know that if you're sleeping, that's going to wake you up, and then you're going to know to pull back. So I love the way that that's operating now. So that is a definite sustain. Fit and finish is all still pretty much the same. I've got the 10-inch screen, which is nice. It seems pretty responsive when you're using it, so that's excellent right there. And the steering wheel with the active cruise control, and you can see the mileage right there. And yeah, that's not bad at all. One thing that I do dislike, however, are the mirrors. I think they could have done something a little different with those. Like, this is fine right here, but still the mirror is a little small. But when I'm sitting, this is my view when I'm driving right here. So it takes out about a quarter of my visibility out of this mirror. So I'm not sure why they did that or how they could have improved that, but this pillar right here just cuts out a good portion of my view. So that's what I see when I'm looking outside of that mirror right there. So that's kind of not cool. And then the one on that side is fine enough, but again, small regardless, right, for such a big van. But they look good and they fit the van, so maybe that's why they did that. So here it is in the back. I've got 1, 2, 3 rows back there. And the idea for this van is maybe to take out the very last row that you see in there, put a bed system of some sort over there with, you know, like a garage underneath, some kind of situation like that, but still thinking about it. But we'll see how it works out. I'll have a more complete video later on. Over here, I also have this door right here, and it's electronic. One thing that I got, a feeling that I got when I was opening it is, you know, this is gonna suck one day when it breaks, but I do have it right now, and it's kind of convenient to open it, but I think I would rather just open and shut it manually right there. So what else do we have? These vans are hard to find and ridiculously expensive at the moment. So it's one of those things you really have to need it, or, you know, I don't know, be stupid enough to pay the $20,000 over MSRP. But if it ever levels off, you're going to be, you know, under by so much. But today, I felt a little bit better when I was at the dealership because they had one of those boxy G-Wagons, and that thing was $335,000 MSRP. And then they were saying that they've got a $150,000 markup on top of that. So that made me feel a little bit better for the $20,000 markup on this, although, you know, I guess if you calculated it and you went by percentage, I think this is still more expensive, right? But anyways, the vehicle's nice, drives really well. I look forward to doing a more complete video, but that's my first impression. Jumping into it, driving it, love the way it drives. Don't like the look outside the mirrors over there, but everything else seems pretty good right now, and I'm excited about it. Excited for 2023 to come up and see what I'm able to do with this. But until then, peace.